yeah, for clearing blocks, fears, beliefs, conditionings from the old paradigm, and how you can step into the new paradigm of light with your gifts and working with spirit, and how you can become super empowered in empathy. Um, so I've got some questions that I'd love to ask you girls and have you share in the chat box. So if everyone can just get familiar with where the chat box is, I'll just put like a hi in here. I am so excited to run this first module. It's honestly like something that just gets me like so passionate and so like channeling. Like it's just my favorite thing. So yeah, we've got the chat box here, and I'd love to ask you girls, just give me a yes or a no, or just share with me like whether you've always at some level felt that you are intuitively gifted, even if you weren't able to like explain it, or even if no one else was around to like validate it, or like you've just had that sense internally that you were always very intuitive. Like sometimes as children we have that sense of being intuitive, but we don't have like the awareness to say like, oh, I'm intuitive, or I've got these gifts, or the awareness that other people aren't using them in the same way, if you know what I mean. So I remember like being intuitive and feeling like it was something kind of special, but not realizing like that it was different to other people, because you don't know what's going on in other people's minds or energy, but I just always remember feeling like I know things and I see things and I can pick up on energy everywhere, and I instantly either like someone or really don't like someone. Like it was always like this thing of like trying to figure out what this thing was that I had going on. But yeah, like I said, not the awareness to actually name it or understand it completely as a child. So heaps of you are saying yes. A couple of you are saying like, no, not sure. But I'm guessing that you're all definitely in a place where you either want to bring it back or explore it and activate it and really start feeling it, and experiencing it for yourselves. Okay, cool. So Jack, you're saying that you don't remember being intuitive as a child, but you've really come into your intuition more recently now. It's mainly like sensitivity and knowing. I never trusted it as being intuitive, if that makes sense. Yep. Felt a lot as a child, now stronger than before. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Nicole. You had your mum to like explain it with you. Yeah, and Christy is saying you could always read a person and right away and know their energy. Sarah, we're just saying like, did you always feel like you're intuitive, or whether you could like explain it or not, or understand exactly what that meant? Like just a sense of always feeling like there was something going on, like so much more than just what the physical world presented in front of you. Also, give me a yes, like if you like tied into that, if you always kind of felt like an alien on earth. Like have you always kind of felt like, even at primary school, or what do you call it, like elementary school, and trying to go about society, just this weird feeling of like, I'm not sure if everyone else feels this way, but I definitely feel like an alien on earth. Like I definitely feel like this is weird and I don't really get other people, and I feel like I've got things going on in my mind that other people just aren't even thinking about. But again, it's like, I don't know if other people feel this way, but you just have the sense of like, there's something different going on here. Or like I remember feeling like I was watching and observing myself as a human as opposed to being a human. Give me a yes or like a me too in the comments if you felt that way. Because yeah, I'd always like zoom out and like watch myself and be like, what is that? Like, what's going on? Like, what is a Jessica? And what does she do? It was like I was watching this thing called Jessica and just being like, oh, but I'm in her, and it's very different. It felt like I was used to being free of a body and just energy. But again, as a kid, you're like, I don't know how to explain that. And you don't, like, I just didn't tell anyone. I was like, this just feels like it would be weird to try and tell someone. Okay, lots of you felt like outcasts, always been a bit different, like an outsider, born in the wrong generation. Okay, and so Catherine, you said not as a child, but you do now. Oh, I love seeing everything that you guys are sharing. And also, like, if you were kind of like, what do you call it, like the black sheep of the family, like you felt like all your family members were like normal, and then you were just like the little like strange one that was like manifesting or playing with crystals or asking questions about the universe. Like I used to like, oh my god, it was being so annoying. I used to haggle my dad. I don't know why my dad in particular, but I was just like, Dad, where did the universe start and where does it end, or does it end, or just like what's going on? And he'd always be like, I can't explain that. I don't know. And I'd be like, but Dad, there has to be like answers. Like, where does it go and what's out there? And he would just be like, I don't know, Jess. And I'd be like, so frustrated that he couldn't just tell me. So definitely the black sheep of the family. Yeah. I think we're all soul sisters. It's been sporty, and I'm like, crystals in astrology. I love it. Yeah. And also, like, I love to ask you girls this question because we're talking about it today. Have you girls also had this feeling of like not knowing what your thing was until really getting into like your intuitive spiritual gifts, in terms of like, say for instance, when I was at school, I always felt like everyone else had like their thing, whether they were really pretty or they were really smart or they were really like sporty and athletic, or like growing up, it was like he was going to university for that and she was going to go get her diploma or PhD in this and that. And I was always like, I mean, I'm good at quite a few things, but all my reports were kind of like good, but so much more potential. Like there was nothing that I was particularly like really going for as like my thing that I felt was like, yeah, my thing, my zone of genius, what I could be an expert at and like win all the medals at. Like I never won like a medal or anything like that. Like I never got like a thing that like was like, ah, Jess is like really exceeding at this, until I found my gifts and I was like, boom, this is my thing. I know I can talk about this like for days, and I know I can like channel my like expertise and my zone of genius. And it was like, this is my thing and this is what I want to be known for. Like when I go down into the ground and I go off into the other dimensions, I want to be remembered for like, that's what she was really good at, because there's nothing else that like was my thing. So tell me, okay, so a few of you girls are saying, yep, like jack of all trades, master of none, all the time, good at school, but not much passion. Yeah. I think I always knew I needed to be doing. I just know I can be doing much more. Yeah. Still figuring it out. It's definitely why I got out of my previous schooling. Yeah. So I'm hoping that you guys may have already felt a sense of this, or that when you really delve into this and you really delve into like your most gifted self, you'll realize like, this is my thing that my soul has been waiting for me to like embody and master, and just, yeah, feeling like, wow, I found like myself and why I'm here, and you know, the my thing that no one else can like take away from me. Like it's just like your expertise, right? Okay, awesome. And okay, I'm guessing that all of you have at some point of your life been told that you're too sensitive. I think that might be a given, but give me a yes anyway. I think we're all pretty intuitive, pretty empathic, very aware of energy, and we feel a lot. So some of you girls might feel like, yeah, but some of you girls might feel like all the time. People are always yabbing on, telling me I'm too sensitive and it's annoying. everyone is saying like my dad would always tell you to toughen up. Yeah, and like some people, other people just don't understand. Like if they don't have that awareness, they just can't understand why. Like if they're not feeling energy all day long and picking up on energy and processing things intuitively all day long, that they don't understand, you know, why it can be a very sensitive emotional thing. So they just don't get it. Yeah, I totally get what you guys mean. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, you're in a good space. No one here is going to tell you that you're too sensitive. People are more likely going to be like, wow, you're so energetically aware. So, okay, the next question I want to ask you girls is what, and I want you to just share completely honestly, even if it sounds silly or you know it's ridiculous, just share with us in the comments, what is your biggest fear or block or belief that you know is holding you back from fully embracing your gifts, your intuition, and working with spirit? So what is it that you feel you're needing to let go of from like the old paradigm of consciousnness? And I'll go a bit more into explaining the old paradigm, but I feel like you girls kind of understand my intention with that. Like, it's just old fears, old belief systems, conditioning, like low vibe shit, you know, like it's just stuff that's been passed down and we just don't, it's not for us. But we might still feel like that still kind of is in my subconscious mind, or you know, it gets in the way. So just share with me in the chat box. And also if you know where it's come from, like say for instance, you might say like, I know a lot of girls have grown up with like Christian parents or religious parents who have told them that it's bad, or that they shouldn't trust their intuition, or you know, all that kind of like, or parents who just don't believe and just say like it's nonsense. You know, like, do you know where it's come from? Or yeah, like you might feel that it's from like a past life, or just share in the comments. Self-doubt, thinking I'm crazy or just making it up. Yeah. we're gonna completely knock that out the park. We're gonna let your soul take complete leadership, and your intuition is going to be crowned queen from now on. Your logical mind is just going to get you from A to B. Okay, not trusting self, friends and family's opinions, insecurity, fear of being seen. That's a big one. Like feeling like it's like it's too hard to put yourself out there with your gifts. Okay, just reading through these. Totally what you mean. And I hope you girls all have like the awareness of the fact that it's all very conditioned, that it's not your soul, it's not your truth, it's not in any way, shape, or form real to who you actually are at your soul embodiment, higher self level, right? Yeah, that's a big one too, like feeling like you might be laughed at by others. Yeah, I know what you mean. But again, it's just like old paradigm misconceptions and people just not knowing or understanding. And realizing that, especially here in this group and in this new paradigm, the world's only getting more and more and more and more woke. Like the world's only getting more and more intuitive and aware of energy and acknowledging quantum physics, and you know, people are becoming more and more and more open-minded. So we just have to create this new paradigm as everyone else is catching up, and realize that we're not living in the past anymore. Lots of things coming through. I love how you guys like chatting between each other as well. Okay, totally get what you mean, Brown, and we'll definitely talk about that today with the empathy empowerment. Okay. Amazing. Thank you, girls, for sharing. All right, so next question is, give me a yes if you, like I said before, you know it's not your truth. You know it doesn't resonate with you. Like it actually doesn't feel good in you. It doesn't feel like you're aligned with it energetically. You just know that it's something that is being either passed down or conditioned or around you in terms of society, but you're like, that is so not me. That is not what I would teach my daughter. And I am over it. Like if you're at that point where you're like, I'm so fucking over it. Like I just don't care for these kind of thoughts or beliefs or fears anymore. Like it's so old, it's so conditioned, it's so from the past, it's so from people that just don't get it. It's fear-based and I don't want to be fear-based. Like I want to be love-based. And as my influence in this world, I want to be like someone who shares consciousness of love and high energy frequency vibration, and not holding back on being who you truly came here to be in your gifts and your purpose. Like it's not just about you, but it's also who you want to be for this new generation and this new paradigm. So if you're totally over it, I see someone's put like eye roll. So if you're totally over it and you're just like, fuck the old paradigm, like we are here to bring in the new paradigm and none of this like nonsense anymore. Boy, bye to the old paradigm. Yeah, just all the yeses coming through. Totally. As long as you know that you're over it and you're just not vibing with it, it's not your truth and it's not who you want to be moving forward. It's not consciousness that you want to carry forward. That's the best part, is knowing that you're in this space. It's hardest for me to help people that are attached to those old beliefs and want to hold on to them or feel a sense of like false safety from those fears and beliefs. Like that's what's hard. But I can tell that you girls are all in the space of being like, yep, totally ready. Amazing. Thank you, girls. Thank you for all being on board with the new paradigm of light. Thank you. Next. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to come back and like read through all the comments afterwards. I can see like, yeah, like I'm seeing as many as I can, but I have to come back and read them all fully. Okay, so you're over it. And okay, just before I get into everything, I just want a yes from everyone who's ready to feel like a empathic superwoman. So you want to go from feeling like empathy's kind of had a background of like being too sensitive or somehow like a victim or weak and like a sponge, to feeling like I want to feel like a badass. Like I want to feel like an empathic badass. Like I am so energetically intelligent. I can like feel into, tune into, be aware of, like pick apart and see right through everything at an energetic level. And you're like beyond just this 3D world. Like you are seeing everything at a multidimensional energetic level. And it's your superpower. Energetic badass, it me. I love you girls already. Yes, Rihanna. Yeah, bringing like your Lizzo vibe. bring that Lizzo vibe of like, yeah, I'm an empathic superwoman. Empathy is not me being too sensitive. It's me being tapped in, tuned in, and completely in my superpower. People that say you're too sensitive are people that just don't have that superpower. So, okay, we're going to get started. So, basically what I want to first identify is like, what is the old paradigm? Just so we can be like, okay, this is what old paradigm is. This is what's outdated, expired, not the vibe anymore, and this is not what we are gonna give any energy to anymore. So you girls can share along with me as I'm going through these examples. I'd love for you to share any things that kind of come into your mind about these type of old paradigm, like fear-based misconceptions and conditionings and beliefs and everything like that. So yeah, just share along as I go through them as well. So old paradigm is thinking that being open means you're vulnerable, and vulnerable makes you weak. Okay, old paradigm. I don't know if any of you guys have been like told that before. Like I remember when I was like 19 and I was trying to like go figure all this stuff out, and I go to crystal shops and I would like talk to, you know, the lady that was working at the crystal shop, and you know, sometimes they'd be like, and I'd say like, oh, I'm having all these experiences with spirit, and you know, I'm just getting all these visions and downloads and blah blah blah, and they'd say things to me like, oh yeah, you're very open, like you need to be careful, like you need to get some black tourmaline, you need to like ground yourself and be really careful. And I'd be like, oh, okay, like I didn't really think it was like a bad thing, but now you got me worried. Like I'd be like really not feeling the vibe of what when they would come across in that impression. So yeah, Danny, you're like, yuck, yes, that you need to protect yourself, fear-based vomit. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so yeah, or even just give a yes if you've been told that or given that impression before and just felt like, excuse me, like, can you not put that on me? Like, that is not how it feels. Or you might have just been going through a really kind of like confusing time with it, and then someone said that to you and you've been like, oh crap, yeah, I need to protect myself all day long, like you know, and just feeling like you weren't sure what was going on kind of thing. So that's totally understandable. Like I was definitely confused at the beginning, but I just knew it always felt yucky when they'd be like, oh, you're open, you need to like be careful. Emily is saying, someone said fear is healthy and keeps you safe. What? I'm sorry. No. It's just old paradigm. So you're like open equals vulnerable and vulnerable equals weak. Being sensitive or being aware is like a blessing and a curse. Like all this kind of stuff that is just like bringing it down a vibe. And it's like, why? Why do you want to do that? Yeah, protection, putting yourself in a shell, denying your power with your intuition and your gifts and your like high energy frequency and vibration. It's all like, just protect yourself, put yourself in a bubble every day, you know, like bring up your shields, get Archangel Michael, rub the sage everywhere. Like it was just like, I remember when people would tell me that I needed to put salt along the bottom of my doorway so that bad energies wouldn't come into my house. And I freaking did it. And because I was so confused trying to like work out what to do with all this stuff. But I was always like doing it, feeling really like yucky and like low vibe about it. And like, it was just dumb. And yeah, so all these like protection methods that are essentially just like, yeah, completely not acknowledging how powerful you are. It's always taking you down a step and making you like, yeah, somehow victim or weak or just this little empathic, intuitive baby that needs to be sheltered all the time. Like it's just it's not empowering at all. And it was always like there's power outside of you, like there's bad energies or like, yeah, things outside of you that you need to be like careful about or scared of, not realizing the power within, no awareness of like law of attraction. Like, I remember, tell me if you girls have been told this before. I remember someone saying like, oh, well, when you put your light on, when you go into like your gifts and high vibration and you put your light on, it's like a moth to a flame and it attracts lots of bad energies and they want to come in like, yeah, soak up all your lightness. And I just remember being like, but that's not the law of attraction. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, good vibes, high vibration attracts good energies, high vibe beings. Like, it's just not the law of attraction to go making up something about, yeah, moths being attracted to a flame. It's just there's like, yeah, lots of victim mentality, yeah, believing in like being, you know, having to be careful about bad spirits. There's a lot that came from religion in terms of like, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with people who have been brought up Christian or religious, and a lot of people have been told that like they're that they shouldn't listen to their intuition because it's a temptation from the devil to go against God's will. And I was like, oh, help me. Like, oh, I could not believe it when I heard that. I wonder if any of you girls have heard that before, or just like ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous things that like people, you understand that people used to believe that, but now it just seems just ridiculous. Yeah. Brianna, I don't have time for that. That's so funny. Yes, Anna, you're like, it's exhausting to have to deal with all this protection and maintenance every day. Exactly. I used to do all the things. I used to get up, be like, Archangel Michael, put my shield on, put the protection up, run around, put salt around the door, get out all my protective crystals, and just wish and pray that like I'll be protected from these bad energies because I was so open and intuitive and vulnerable. And it was like this maintenance thing of like, don't get caught unprotected, like don't get caught, you know, being too open. And yeah, it felt like such a maintenance, and I was so like, felt like such a chore. Like, it didn't feel like a nice ritual to go get up and do in the morning. It was like this fear-based, like I gotta go do all the maintenance before the bad energies get me. Damn, might get a spiritual STI. So it's just this old stuff, old paradigms, fear-based, and like misconceptions about spirituality and energy and spirit that just is so old and expired. It's so yuck and gross. It's like milk that has gone bad. It's just like, it just is not something that we want to even like entertain or talk about anymore, you know? Tell me in the comments, give me like a over it in the comments if you are just, yeah, like so ready to just like, yeah, completely leave the old paradigm behind and move forward. Totes over it, love it. I mean, I could go into like a whole bunch of like all the different things that are from the old paradigm and blah, 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 but you girls know what I mean. Like, those are the general things. It's all just very like not empowering, fear-based, misunderstood, like yeah, just silly, ridiculous stuff that is just like not what we're here to like continue into our generation or the next generation. It's like we've ascended past that shit. It's like old consciousness, but we've ascended that. And we're here to create the new paradigm together. Okay, so Danny's saying, can you give an example of old paradigm in terms of readings versus now? Yeah, okay, so old paradigm reading, we've probably all had one before, where like you go to a psychic and they're telling you you've got like good luck or bad luck in love, or they're saying your future as if it's set in stone, or they're saying that like, the reason why you aren't succeeding in your career or making money is because you've got a bad entity attached to you and you need to pay to get it removed. Like really, really old paradigm readings, like very much putting the power in the reader's hands and making the client, making the person who's getting the reading feel very like concerned about like not being in power or in control of their own lives. It's like, well, whatever the cards say or whatever is dealt to me in this reading is my fate, and I'm just gonna have to, you know, deal with it. So let me know if you've had an experience like that before, because like now a reading would be more like, okay, so you've felt unlucky in love, but let's have a look at where this pattern's coming from. And you know, in a reading, like I might feel like, okay, so this person, like in a reading, yeah, I might be tuning into someone and feel like, okay, so this person never felt validated by their dad. So we're finding like what's the core emotion, what is it that they're really looking for. They're looking for validation through men, but they're looking for it in the wrong ways, and that's why they've felt like they've been unlucky in love. But let's look at how you can actually heal this and move forward and be conscious of what you can actually create for yourself. And also let's look at, you know, insights about the soulmate who is actually aligned for you, and what it is that you need to do to come up to that level to attract that soulmate, and what are the qualities and traits of the relationship, and who do you need to become to you know, get there, you know, as opposed to just being like, oh yeah, you're unlucky in love, too bad, like so there's a slight example if that helps clarify. And Jackie was saying like, so we don't have to protect ourselves at all, question mark. Yeah, basically, and I'll get really clear on this soon, but basically I don't teach protection at all. I don't practice protection because I don't want any of you girls to feel like you are in any way any less than a completely powerful, energetic master. Like you get to choose, and I'll get into this, but you get to choose the energy and the place of which you're coming from, and therefore what energies you interact with. And in doing so, you create your own boundary as to what you're not here to interact with. So I'll go into that soon, and you'll really see like what I mean by it in terms of like protection isn't necessarily when you know you're fucking powerful, you know? So that's what we're going to get into. Yeah, I totally understand, Christy. Yeah, okay, so yeah. Also, I had a question. Who's been feeling like they've practiced those kind of tools or things that are from the old paradigm, but only from a place of like I've heard that I meant to do this, and I've seen everyone else doing this, and you know, I just want to make sure that I'm being safe, but only doing it because you feel like you don't know better, like the world hasn't taught you to be empowered or to feel powerful in your gifts and your energy and your self-mastery. Like you might have done the protection methods or put the salt around the door or saged all the time just because you felt like it's just a practice and you don't really know what, yeah, you don't know better, so to speak. It's like a chore that I don't want to do, but I've been told to do it, feeling like I felt like I had to, but not really inspired to. That's a good way to put it. You're saying I actually love rituals, so never because I feel I have to. Yeah, I think you can definitely love rituals. As long as they're like your own rituals that you feel really resonate for you and feel empowering and like high energy frequency vibration for you, as opposed to like a ritual that comes from like, oh, well, this is what I was told to do because it's spiritual, or, you know, it's what other people do. Or out of any kind of place of fear or anything like that, you know. Any ritual that feels good and like resonates with your soul, like they're the best. And Danny was saying it's like a tool we're using to try and gain power, but again externally. Yeah, definitely. Like Annie was saying, like burn sage is part of ritual and intention into my daily gratitude and prayer. Definitely. Like it's all about the intention, right? Like I'm not saying that sage or, you know, like protective crystals or things like that, I'm not saying that they're old paradigm or that they're bad. I'm just saying there was an old paradigm misconception or like fear-based intention that people used to utilize with things such as them. But we can totally use them in the new paradigm with a new high vibrational intention. Like I personally, I don't use sage just because to me, like using it and the smell of it just reminds me of that time when I used to feel really fearful. So now, so it just doesn't resonate with me like personally, but I love Palo Santo and I burn Palo Santo, not because I'm scared of bad energies or whatever. It's like a nice cleansing, like renewing the energy, fresh start to the day. Like, you know, I think of it as like nature's medicine being, you know, all around my house. Like, Palo Santo is like a wood. I've got one here. That's over there. It's like like a sacred wood that you can burn, and it's got this beautiful like woody. It smells like campfire, and I have such a nostalgic feeling around campfires because I was brought up camping and having, you know, campfires and the stars and everything like that. So it just feels better for me than sage. So that's just for me personally. So it's just finding what feels really nice for you. So yeah, so definitely in a space where you feel like you're wishing you didn't need to do those things, and you're ready to make it actually like fun. You're ready to work with your intuitive gifts, feel empowered in your empathy, and work with spirit from a space of like, this is meant to be my thing that brings me the most joy and sense of fulfillment and puts me in a really high vibe, and I'm fearless while I'm doing it, like ready to feel that way. So ready for the new paradigm. So new paradigm is definitely about energetic mastery. So knowing that you are the complete master of your own energy and your own energy field, right? And nothing outside of you is ever more powerful than you in your energetic mastery, right? And nothing can ever get to you without your permission, right? Give me a yes if you know that. Like deep down, you know that you are the CEO of your energy field, and you know that you might have some things where you need to let go of or release to really embody it more. But deep down, you know that you are the CEO of your energy field. You can master it and feel like nothing ever outside of you could ever do any type of damage, because yeah, you're in your energetic mastery and you're owning yourself and your life, you know. Sarah, you're like, first time I heard you say that, I was in the car and just screamed, yes, queen. Okay, cool. So, oh no, who left me in charge? Okay, so you believe it, but you want to trust yourself more with it. Yeah. Okay. Love feeling this way when I'm with my clients. Awesome. Okay, beautiful. So yes, you are always in your energetic mastery. So, but sometimes when we think that we are somehow victim to other energies, whether that be like spirits or other people's energy, when we think that we're victim to that, we step out of our power, we step out of our energetic mastery, and we allow ourselves to be influenced energetically, you know, like we allow ourselves to play the role of the victim when we don't know our power, right? We've all done that before, but now we know better, and now we are owning it, right? So when I talk about energetic mastery, I think of it as like you are completely embodying your soul, and you are channeling your soul at your highest wavelength, and you set the tone. Like you are setting the bar for your energy field and everything around you, and any energy that can or cannot reach you. Like you're setting the standard, you're setting the bar, and you're saying, this is my soul embodied in the human world, and this is the energy that I am mastering and emitting and radiating, and only this energy or higher can interact with me or reach me or bless me, and anything less cannot, because by law of attraction, if this is the energy, frequency, vibration, the wavelength that I'm at, that is the law. Like you girls all know that, right? Give me a yes if you know that. So yeah, I feel like the best way you can do that is to embody your soul and know your wavelength as to what bar you're setting, right? And you set the tone with spirit too, okay? You have to know that. You have to know that you 100% set the tone with spirit. Because I didn't realize this when I first started. I thought that I was this, you know, little Jessie who had these gifts and could be a medium or a channel, a conduit for the spirit world to the physical world. And I thought I was just kind of like in the middle, like in service of, and, you know, like as if I was like employed by spirit, you know, because I was around like delivering all these messages and blah, blah, blah. But sometimes I just felt like I wasn't in control of myself or my own energy. And as like a Leo, that didn't fit well for me. I was like, I don't know if I like feeling like this. And I just knew like deep down inside, because I have this like little inner rebel that I think is part of like being a Leo. Tell me if you girls, like, give me a yes if you have like an inner rebel. Like it might have come out more when you were a kid, or when you came into being an adult. Like some point of your life, you're like, I have an inner rebel, and when something doesn't resonate with me, or someone tries to tell me something to do that is not my vibe, I like come out of my shell and I am a rebel. I might be empathic, I might be introverted, I might sometimes be shy in social situations, but I have an inner rebel that is not going to be told, you know, or do anything that doesn't resonate with me. So yeah, when I was at that stage, it just kind of started coming out with this like little rebel in me, like, no, this is not how it's meant to be for me. I'm not meant to feel like this. I know that as the one, I am the soul that has come here into this physical dimension. I've taken on, you know, being a human so that I can bring the messages from spirit world into the human world. And I get to be the one that is in charge of what comes through from the spirit side and what comes through or is engaged with on the human side as well. Like I'm the one who's doing this. Like I've come here to do this work, and I am the boss. Like I got into the space where I was like, this is my soul, my energy, my body, myself, and I get to say that when it comes to the spirit world, only my spirit guides or high vibrational beings get to come through and connect with me. I'm not fucking dealing with no nonsense of any low vibe energies. They can get fucked. I know that I don't have to. I know I'm more powerful than them because I am in my empowerment, and they rely on me being fearful in order to gain power, but I'm not giving them that. And also when it comes to the human world, I'm not just going to go around giving readings to everyone. I'm not going to be some type of like sponge that everyone just uses for the gifts. I get to choose who I do readings for. I choose that it's in high integrity, high value. I get to choose that it's people that I would actually want to hang out with in my daily life, like people I actually vibe with. And I get to choose because it's my time, my day, my, you know, it takes a lot for me to do readings energetically. So it's like I get to choose that it gets to be enjoyable for me. And I'm not dealing with people who aren't on my vibe. I'm not dealing with people who are thinking that I'm going to fix all their problems for them, or tell them that they're going to win the lottery for their life to be better. Or, like, you know, I'm not here for that. I'm only here for people that actually want readings and are going to take the guidance for the highest good and make a freaking difference with it. Like, I realized after getting frustrated after a little while that I get to be the boss. And I just remember my spirit guides being like, yeah, that's right. But you just needed to work that out. So tell me if you, I love it how you're like, so not here for that. So yeah. I love you guys. Oh, you got Leo as well. I went to pee and just heard, let me know if you're in a rebel. You're like, yes, I am. Yeah, so yes, Emily, this is a serious portal. I am so ready for the consciousness jump. Yes. Me freaking do. Yeah, okay. Good. So this is the new paradigm. And that means that it's for the better, it's for the betterment of all the collective consciousness. It's better for you. You get to be in a higher level of service with your gifts because you get more of a balance and you feel better, you feel good, you feel like you're yourself, enjoying your life, you're serving people that are actually going to take it to the highest potential. It's better for everyone to come from that sassy place of being like, I'm going to make sure that this is only high vibe. And just, yeah, being in that sense of empowerment, because we're all meant to feel like goddesses. We're all meant to feel like we're these like empathic, intuitive, you know, healers, goddesses that are light workers, and we're meant to feel that sense of empowerment. We're not meant to feel like, you know, we're just these nice people that get used all the time. That's not the vibe anymore. That's old paradigm. It's not the new paradigm. We're meant to be totally empowered, right? So yeah, you get to set the tone with spirit from, yeah, like I only work with my spirit guides and the higher dimensional beings. If there's ever any sense of like a lower vibe energy trying to come through, I'm just like, no, like absolutely not. Get stuffed, go elsewhere. Like, it's just a joke to me now. Like, I used to be so afraid of that. I used to be so afraid of something like that happening, and now it's like an absolute joke. Because this is the thing, you have to know, you already know this, but you just need to remember this. High energy, frequency, and vibration equals high power, right? Low energy, frequency, vibration equals low power, okay? So if you are in a high energy, frequency, and vibration, there is absolutely no need for you to be worried about a lower power energy, right? Like, can we just all agree on that? Like, just give me a yes if you totally get what I mean by that, or if that gives you like a light bulb of like, like, duh. Why would I, if I'm in high energy, frequency, and vibration, and in that power, why would I worry about an energy that is in lower power, that relies on me being fearful in order to gain any sense of power? Like, no. When you know you're in your power, they just don't even bother. Like, they can't, because they can't reach your frequency, and they don't even bother because they're like, oh no, I'm not gonna get, like, I just don't even acknowledge them. It's just pathetic. And also, like, bad energies are old paradigm. It's just not connected to this now ascended level of collective consciousness. So they're not even really there anyway. Like, you know, maybe when the world was at a point where the collective consciousness was at a lower sense of consciousness, if you know what I mean, thinking that there were these like scary ghosts running around everywhere that they need to be afraid of. We're not at that level anymore. We're at such a higher level where, like, they just can't even be a part of this anymore. So we really need to completely cut that out as anything that we're even thinking of. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So, so yeah, knowing that you set the tone with that. And to be honest, it's just like with everyday people. It's like, yes, like there's a range or a spectrum of different levels of energies or spirits. But there's also, like, in this world all around us, people that are on the spectrum of lower or higher energies as well. But you don't go around, like, you don't go out into this world being like, oh my gosh, like, I really hope I don't, like, hang out with a really bad person today, because you're not going to choose to do that. You know, it's like, oh, do you guys have to go? Oh, I loved having you guys. Thank you for being here. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Yes, you'll get the replay as well. It'll come straight to your email as soon as I get it uploaded. But yeah, just back to that, like, just give me a yes or say resonate if you get what I mean by the fact that, like, it's just the same as this everyday world. Like, you go out and you choose the people you hang out with, and if they're not up to your vibe, you don't hang out with them anymore, or you don't choose to surround yourself with those people, and you consciously choose to go hang out with people that are on your vibe, that have a positive influence in your life, uplift you, and yeah, have a good influence, right? So it's the same. You get to choose. For some people, for some reason, people just think that when it comes to energies or spirits, that they don't get a choice and that they have to be careful and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you get to choose. It's you, your energy, your life. You get to choose who you hang out with in both worlds, spirit world and human world, right? So you just have to set that really clear intention. Like, I'm sure heaps of you guys have gone through, I love it, Emma, you're like, dope. Like, I'm sure you've gone through that phase in life where you're like, okay, I'm just not going to choose to hang out with people that just don't vibe with me anymore. If they don't lift me up, they can get the fuck out. And I'm just going to hang out with my people who are really on my vibe and that I want to be surrounded by. And it's like that fun, empowered feeling of, like, I get to choose. It's my choice, my life. So it's the same with spirit. You get to choose. Like, please just let go of any thoughts that make you think that you don't get a choice in that. You 100%, it's your choice. And by you knowing that, it takes it to a whole other level. Like, if you didn't know that previously, like, it's hard to feel like you're not afraid of the things that have been said about, you know, old paradigm stuff. But when you know this, it's like, yeah, it's like a light bulb moment, and you just get to realize, like, this is me, my life, my energy. I get to choose. So yeah, knowing your power, and not only, like, this has like a double effect. Not only does that create boundaries in terms of, like, you've set the bar and nothing less is gonna, you know, nothing else is allowed. It's just Simple as that. It's a clear boundary that protects you and your energy, right? But I just don't like to think of it as protection because I feel like my girls don't need protection. They're fucking powerful. But you know what I mean? It creates like a boundary in terms of like, you're just knowing what you do resonate, you know, what level you do resonate at, and you know what you do interact with, both in the spirit world and physical world. And that's all that matters. It's like, that's the focus. So it's an automatic boundary to anything less than that, right? So give me a yes, yes, yes if you are feeling empowered now. I totally know what you mean, Sarah, about like feeling anxious about cutting people out because I don't like hurting people. So I've got something to share that you'll actually really love. That's a really good approach for that. And you don't have to be a bitch. You don't have to cut people out. You just there's a new approach, and I'm sure you'll resonate with that. Okay. So yeah, I'm sure you know by now, like, that's why you don't need protection. It's an automatic boundary. And the other thing is that it automatically helps you create a clearer connection with spirit that you actually intend to connect with. So the less that you are focused on or even thinking about lower or bad energies, and the more that you're purely focused on your spirit guides and your high vibe spirit team, the clearer the connection is, because you've just gone up another level in terms of your energy, frequency, vibration. And they're all like, yay, like she's closer to us, like she's more on our level. And now we can get through so much easier, right? So give me a yes if you get that as well. Like, it's a win-win. You put boundaries to anything that's not wanted, and you get closer with what you actually do want to connect with, right? Yeah, or it's just like in human life, when you choose to only surround yourself with people that are high vibe, you just start realizing that all these other high vibe people start coming into your life, and you create this like soul sister circle, and it's like, oh my gosh, because I cut out or just stopped hanging out with people that I felt obligated to hang out with, that I just didn't really enjoy the company of anymore, because I got them out of the space, there's all this room for more of these cool people that I like, you know. So it's like, it's a double benefit, and you connect more with your spirit team, because like your soul embodiment and complete high energy frequency vibration, like you and your higher self up on your wavelength, that is also in complete synchronicity with the wavelength that your spirit guides and your spirit team exist upon. Like, you coming into that highest space for yourself is automatically where your spirit guides know to meet you. Do you get what I mean by that? Give me a yes if that makes sense. So your personal unique spirit guides know exactly your highest wavelength, and that they will meet you there. They know how to get there, right? So it just creates a clearer connection, okay? And I'd love for you girls to just quickly share with me 3 words or more that describe your, like, the energy, frequency, and vibration that you are now choosing as like the bar. Like, you're setting the tone, you're setting the wavelength from a place of like soul embodiment and what resonates with you. 3 words that would describe that. Like, for me, I would say that when I go to get in my vibe and connect with my spirit team, I'm always looking for a feeling of like lightness, playfulness, and just like fun vibes. Like, that's what gets me with my spirit guides. That's what makes me connect the best, is if it's light, playful, and fun. That's what gets me there, in 3 words. But you might feel that it's like peacefulness and tranquility and stillness, or, you know, we're all unique and different. So we all need to know what it is for us. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Definitely, Danny, definitely. I love it. Fun, love, and caring. Boss, fun, and love, joy, and laughter. Love it. Yeah. So, yeah, don't worry about trying to be spiritual or like anyone else. Just what is your energy, frequency, and vibration that puts you in a wavelength where you feel like, this is my soul, I'm completely embodied, and this is the wavelength that I want to live at for the rest of my life, and this is where my spirit guides, meet me, and this is the standard for where everyone else can meet me, and this is all I'm willing to deal with. Like, this is all that I'm going to allow. Like, this is my space. This is my home energetically, and nothing less is allowed in my home. Like, just know what that is for you. Oh, I love it. Motherly, feminine, and soft. Yeah. So just knowing what that is for you is the best thing. It'll do wonders for connecting with spirit more clearly, and also people in general, like empathically. Okay, so now a little bit more into like the empath side of things. So give me a yes if, when it comes to empathy, if it's like public spaces that you find the hardest. Like public places, lots of people. Is that the hardest part of it for you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Because that's what it was for me. I honestly, when this all started happening and like everything was coming through with my gifts and spirit was coming through and I was empathic and I could pick up on everyone and everyone's passed over grandparents and loved ones and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my God, I honestly thought that I was not allowed, or like I was not allowed to, or I was not going to be able to ever go like shop for myself again, or go to my groceries, or go to a festival, or do anything that involved people. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't be a human being anymore. Like, forget it. Like, I can't do this anymore, because now I feel this, it's all come back to me in terms of my gifts and energy, and I can't deal with it. And I just felt like I was a sponge when I went out into those spaces, and I was like, oh. I remember my mum and my sister were trying to go like shopping together. I'll get to the shopping mall and be like, I can't, but I'm gonna faint. I'm like, Mum, I'm gonna be sick. Take me back to the car. My sister would be like, what? She'd be like, we haven't even started. Like, she'd be like, it's just ridiculous. And she'd be like, why can't you just come shopping anymore? And I'd be like, I don't know how to explain it. I just can't deal with it anymore. Because I was going into these public spaces with the mindset of being a sponge, because that's all I knew from my experience with it, was that I'm a sponge, take on all these other energies. It's overwhelming, there's too much, and I can't handle it. Like, that's what I thought. So I'm sure you girls can relate and know what I mean by that. But it doesn't have to be that way, because I at first just started like being like an online shopper. I like do all my groceries online and order clothes online and just do everything like, oh, I wonder if I can get it online so I don't have to go out in public. And that was like a coping mechanism for the meantime. But I was doing that, and then I just got frustrated again. I feel like my inner rebel is such a guide for me. Like, the little inner rebel came out and it's like, what? Like, you're saying that I can't go shopping anymore, and I can't go do my own things, and I don't have independence to go and do my own groceries and pick my own vegetables? Like, I was like, this is nonsense. Like, I will not have it. Tell me if you guys have felt that way before, where you've just been like, like, I want to be able to go and do these things. I want to go and like do normal human stuff sometimes. I want to be able to do that without being overwhelmed and feeling like I'm just a sponge that takes on everyone else's shit. Like, I really was, just in the space where I was like, I deserve to be able to go out and spoil myself with some new clothes that I go pick from the shops. Like, and because I used to love going shopping and doing stuff like that. So I was like, I felt like that was like taken away from me somehow by that experience. So give me a yes or say me if you feel like you're wanting to like reclaim that and you're like, I want to just confidently go and do these things that might be out in public and not feel overwhelmed by it and not feel like I can't, you know. Cool. Okay, so one of the main things with that is when it comes to especially like public spaces or you're going to interact with other human beings, again, you have to set the tone first before you go into those spaces. I mean, you can still do it if you go out and then you're like, oh, I should probably do some energetic mastery right now. But ideally, you want to do it before you go out and before you go into public spaces or around other people. Get really clear in the fact that, like, okay, I am an empath. I am really like energetically intelligent. I will feel lots of energy around me. If I think that I'm a sponge, I'm going to experience being a sponge. But I wasn't, born with this gift or this ability to be energetically intelligent to feel like a victim. I know that's not true to me. And reminding yourself, what I just need to do is, instead of being in the like sponge mode where I'm letting all the energy come into my space and taking it all on, I need to become embodied in my light worker mode, and I need to radiate energy, and I need to be influencing positively wherever I go, whatever the situation or circumstance is. So I need to know what energy I want to be in first and foremost, and what energy I'm going to radiate outward to the space. And by doing so, setting that tone, I only allow back energy of the same wavelength. So I used to get really, really determined and really strong and being like, okay, I go like into the space of like, okay, I'm grounded. I know my power. I'm centering myself in love. I'm bathing and marinating myself in love energetically. And I'm seeing my energy field, my force field, just radiating love. And I know that wherever I go, whether it's a really big public space or just around a couple of people, that's what I am experiencing is love, and I'm radiating love. And no matter what's going on in all these other people's lives, I know I can't actually take it on and fix it for them. But if I'm radiating love, that's going to have a positive influence. So that's what I choose to do. And I only accept love back, right? So doing that is very empowering as a mindset, but it's also instructing your energy field to work in a completely different way. It's like, instead of being a sponge and being like, oh my God, I can feel everything, it's more like, okay, I know there's going to be lots of energy that I'm going to be aware of, but I'm choosing that I'm centering myself in this energy, and I'm radiating and putting this energy into the space. And see yourself as this, it's a 111 somewhere and 1111 somewhere. Yay. So when you put yourself in this mode, and you see yourself as this empathic superwoman, even if you want to like visualize yourself putting on like your empathic superwoman cape to go into these public spaces and just being like, you know what, I can fucking do this. Like, I can do it. And I'm going to be such a light worker. I'm going to put such positive vibes into this space. No matter what anyone else is going through or what anyone else's vibe is, I'm going to put positive vibes in here. And that's going to be my choice and my influence. It's kind of like, as an analogy, say there's like a room, and that room is dark. And instead of you walking into the room and being like affected by the darkness in the room, you're going to go in there and put the freaking light on and be a positive influence to that room, to that space, and lift everyone else into their higher selves, right? So give me a yes if that resonates with you, if that feels like something you're going to go and practice, if that feels empowering for you, if that's flicked a switch for you personally. Give me your feedback on that. Like, how does that feel for you girls? Definitely start practicing straight away, and practice it from a space of like, I'm going to get better and better and better at this. Because I remember when I started, I would feel like a little bit more empowered and then a little bit more empowered, and a little bit more empowered as I would practice it every time. It wasn't necessarily the first time I practiced it that I was like, whoa, completely different. I would just be like, oh, this is better. And this is better and better and better. Like, I would just get better and better because I start realizing this works, this works, this works. Like, and now I can go do anything. Honestly, girls, I can go do anything. And I know that I'm empathic and I know I can feel the energy, but I know how to master it, and I know how to enjoy being in social or public situations. Like, New York was the next level for me. Like, when I first got here, I was like, well, this is intense. But now I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I just need to get into my sassiness, get into my solar plexus, and walk out those streets as if I'm confident, like as if I live here, as if I run this town. And I just like walk straight through people. Like, when I first got here, I was like, oh, sorry, like, let me get out of your way. Now I just walk through and I'm like, yep. And I just like, I just embody that part of me that's like, yep, this is what I need to be, like, energetically, to be here in this environment. Because I'm not into doing anything that feels disempowering anymore. Like, I just find my way in terms of like, this is what I need to do energetically to be here and enjoy it and to make the most of it. So it's something to really, like, yeah, like you said, experiment with, implement, get really used to, right? And then also, yeah, just remembering you are energetically intelligent. It is your superpower to work with, and realize, like, fuck, this is like my power. This is how I can completely just like master my energy anywhere, anytime, anyone. Like, it's all up to me. I get to choose, right? So you're completely just like reclaiming being the CEO of your own self and energy field in life. So yeah, be the light worker, be love, send love, and only allow love into your space. It's best for you and it's best for everyone else, right? And again, it's like part of it's an integrity with who you are and who you want to be in this world. You want to be loving. So like, it's just taking it up to that level of that embodiment, right? And then, okay, when it comes to other people on a more like a personal level, so brain freeze. Who was it that was saying before that they find it hard because they feel like they don't want to cut people out? Sarah? Okay, yeah. So totally get it. I'm sure all you girls probably resonate with that, because we don't want to hurt anyone, and we don't, you know, like, we're light workers, so we don't want to be mean, and we don't want to cut people out, and we don't want to make people feel like, you know, they're not wanted or loved. Like, it's part of our nature, right? But we have got to love ourselves first and more than anyone outside of us, right? And so you can do this in a way where you're prioritizing yourself, loving yourself first and foremost, and you're being loving towards other people, and they get to choose for themselves whether they're going to come up to your level or not, okay? So it's not about you cutting anyone else out. It's just about you setting the standard and saying, this is where I'm going to be. Come meet me or don't. Your choice. But I'm not going to accept anything less than that. So basically what I'm saying is, when it comes to your personal relationships or people in your life, even though sometimes it might be hard, your job is to see them for their higher selves, right? So whoever's in your life, whoever you might sometimes feel like you prefer them to not be in your life, or you just feel like they're not bringing the best version of themselves to the relationship with you and it gets you down. Now on, for everyone, seeing everyone as their highest selves, okay? And, oh, bye, Secret. You can always catch the replay of the rest of this. So yeah, as you're seeing everyone as their higher self, like, you're being your higher self and you're seeing everyone else at the level of their higher self, right? So that is doing them service. That's doing everyone service for you to see someone as their higher self. Do you guys know what I mean by that? I'm sure you do. Just give me a yes in the comments, just so I know that we're vibing and that this is going to make sense. So if you're seeing someone as their higher self, like say for instance, my mum, I love her to death, and she's the best. She's the most loving person, and she's the cutest, and she's the sweetest. But sometimes I will notice when she's not being her higher self, like she might be doubting herself or putting herself down, or not going for her dream, you know. And so instead of me being like, okay, I'll come down and meet you at that level of your self-doubt and things like that, I'm like, no, Mum, like I know how amazing you are and how high of an energy, frequency, and vibration you are, because you're just pure love, and you deserve way more than any of that you're, doubting or thinking right now. And I'm just not going to have it. Like, I'll do what I can to see my mum as her higher self, and like hold space for her higher self, and only talk to her higher self. Like, I'm not talking to the part of her that's doubting herself at the time. I'm talking to her higher self to remind her to come back to that space, So you're like, Mom, you're a boss ass bitch. You go, girl. Don't talk about my mom like that. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like seeing anyone and everyone in their higher self. Even like I said before, sometimes it can be really hard. It's like, does this person have a higher self? But as much as you can, anyone that's in your life, seeing their higher self and being like, I'm up here with my higher self, and I'm only looking and seeing you as your higher self, and basically inviting them, and I'll give some examples, but like inviting them up into their higher self to be able to interact with you. It's like, this is a standard. We're only going to hang out if it's our higher selves hanging out. But this is the new thing. I'm going to see you as your higher self. I'm going to invite your higher self up to this interaction. But I am no longer in any way, shape, or form going to lower myself energetically or disempower myself by coming down to your level in order to meet you or interact with you. Like, I'm not going there anymore. It's not my job. I'm not interested. It's not fun. It's not happening. Like, we sometimes get this feeling of like, it's considerate or compassionate of me to come down to their like lower self level to relate, but I feel like that's just like a guilt thing. It's like, it's not doing any good for either person. It's like bringing two people out of their higher selves into a lower level, and they're not going to create many solutions at that level. Like, it's not going to get anywhere. It's probably just going to stir up more shit. So it's like, from now on, people in your life, you hold yourself accountable for your energy, frequency, vibration, your wavelength, your higher self. You see and hold space for other people's higher selves. You invite them up to their higher selves in order to interact with you, but you're making it very energetically clear that you will not go down to their level to be able to meet them or interact with them. It's kind of like they might be in certain situations inviting you to their pity party, and you're like, my RSVP is a no. I am not coming. Not happening. It doesn't sound like my kind of party. I'm not going. Like, count me out for attendance. Not happening. But if you want to come join me over here in the higher self party, you're more than welcome. Like, you hold the standard for everyone in your life. So that way, you're being loving to yourself. You're being loving to the other person, even though that other person is sometimes going to feel like, why can't you just come down here with me and like wallow in my self-pity? Like, why can't you love me like that? And you're just like, that's not good for you. So I'm not going to do it. I'm actually going to be loving and pull you up to your higher self and invite you to your higher self. And at the end of the day, it's a win-win for you, because either they realize it and they come up to their higher self and they go, oh, I was being silly. I complain a lot, I'm sorry, and they start talking about better things. Or they say, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. And you say, okay, good, like, fine, bye. Like, just hold that standard, and they will either come up and you'll be like, okay, this is better. I can deal with you now. Or they'll go away and they'll find someone else to invite to their pity party. And they'll probably find someone that will go, but that's not your problem, you know? So, give me a preach in the in the chat box if this is like resonating for you and this could work for you in terms of like, okay, I can do this. I don't have to be a bitch. I don't have to cut people out or be mean. I just get to be my higher self, stand up for their higher self, hold space for them to be a better version of themselves. And if they choose not to come up to that level, it is in no way my problem that they choose that, and I'm not going to go running after them. They can choose that, they can go elsewhere. That is them, their choice to leave, right? So and we're like, light workers, let's fucking go, this is why we're here. Yeah, exactly. So it's, you're being a light worker, you're being loving, you're being helpful, you are being a high energy frequency vibration and influence in this world, and you're not accepting anything less. So it's win-win, right? And yeah, who feels like this is their way now? It's like, okay, great. I don't feel like I'm a bad person for, you know, not wanting other people in my life anymore. It's like, this is what I'm going to do, and they can make their own choices. Yeah, for their higher self to catch up. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're doing them a huge favor by doing that. Nicole, you're like, sometimes they sulk though, but it's just coming from the space now of like, okay, well, that's your choice, but I am still not coming down to your level to try and remedy that for you. Like, if you want to sulk, that's your choice, and you just have to be really like self-loving and self-respectful in your way of like, okay, I've done my job. I invited them to come up to a better version of themselves. And they chose not to. That's their choice, and that's just a reflection of them, right? And also, like, say for an example, you might be thinking like, but how do I actually implement this or do this? Okay, so you might have your friend that comes over, and your friend is the one who always complains or comes over and dumps their shit, and it's like, why do you always have to talk about all this boring negative stuff that's just not going anywhere? I'm sick of hearing it. So with those kind of people, or anything similar to that, instead of like encouraging or entertaining the conversation the way that they want to entertain the conversation in terms of being negative and complaining and blah blah, entertain it in a way of like not trying to solve it for them, because that again is not your job, but a way of calling upon their higher self is to say like, so basically, like, you might put this in more specific or more softer terms, but you're basically wanting to say like, so what are you going to do about it? Like, you hate your job, complain about it all the time, complain about your boss all day long, complaining about it, and me saying like, oh, that sucks, that's really dumb, like every time you come around, like, I don't want to do that anymore. What are you going, like, what's your goal now? Like, are you looking for a new job, or what would you really like to come from this situation, or what do you need to do for yourself to feel better? Like, say for instance, if they're really like stuck in that job, or they have to be in that job, like, be like, okay, well, what could you do on your weekends to make you feel better? Like, what could you do for yourself to fill your cup and balance your energy? Or if they're complaining about a partner and the partner's treating them like shit, and you don't have to be like, tell them what to do with their lives or anything, but just say like, do you really want to be in this relationship anymore? like, is it something that's really enjoyable for you anymore? Or like, do you need support in leaving? Like, you know, you're still there for them, but you're asking them to bring out more of this solution-oriented higher self that's going to, you know, bring out a bit more like self-empowerment, self-respect, and taking control of their own life and reality. But asking questions or using the conversation to head in that direction, and invite them up to that level of thinking, and just making it quite clear energetically, like, I'll help you when it comes to solution oriented or bringing out the best in the situation or making changes, or what's going to empower you from now on, but I'm just not going there anymore in terms of complaining and nagging along with you. Like, it doesn't help either of us. Like, I'm not giving you any solution by saying that your situation sucks or feeling bad for you. Like, it's not helping anyone. So going, like, asking them how they could bring out more situation better for everyone.
What's this? Wow.
Kitty in the background somewhere. So yeah, give me a yes if you resonate with that approach now. Yes, Brianna saying your husband said you do this all the time already. That's awesome. Emma, he said, I told a guy at my job that I'm not here to be complained to. Or like, say for instance, like sometimes me and my sister joke about this with our mum. Like sometimes she'll come home from work and be like, oh, my boss said this and blah, blah, blah. And we'll just like joke with her and be like, so what was the best part of your day? And she'll be like, oh, yeah, okay. Like she'll be like, okay, I know I've come home and only complained. So you just like, you can make it fun. Like just be like, okay, well, out of the situation, what are you grateful for? What have you learned? What are you taking away from this experience? Or yeah, what was the best part? Or what are you doing in your personal time to take care of yourself? Or like just asking those kind of questions so that they either start thinking differently, because they might just not have like been observant enough of themselves to realize like, oh, I just actually need to like start thinking like, what's the solution here? Or how can I take care of myself? Or what am I going to do about it? Or what can I be grateful for from this experience? Like they probably just haven't thought of that. And you asking those questions might get a reaction of like, oh, thanks. Like I totally spiraled and only focused on the negatives, and you really helped me become a bit more balanced with this. And I've, you know, got a bit of perspective now because you've brought them up to their higher selves. Or they'll realize that they can't come to you anymore to sulk and complain and that they need to go elsewhere. Again, it's like a win-win. They realize like, I'm not going to get that from you anymore. You're not doing what I want you to from my lower self. You're not coming down to my level anymore. So I'm not going to come hang out with you. Okay, bye. You know, so oh, awesome, Jessie. Yeah, you can definitely watch the replay as well. I'll send it out as soon as it gets uploaded. And Emma, you're saying, so asking questions is a good technique. I'm really about not telling people what to do because I hate that when people do it to me. Yeah, you're not telling them what to do. You're not fixing their problem. You're not doing their work or their journey for them. You're just prompting questions and inviting them to answer from their higher self and actually find their own solution, and then be like, oh, okay, now I can hang out and have a better time because, you know, you haven't emphasized or snowballed the direction that they were going in. You've like kind of snapped them out of it, you know, and brought them up to a better level for themselves. And like I said, if they can't come up and they don't like the fact that they can't come and complain to you anymore, that they're only going to get, you know, a supportive space for their higher selves, which they're just not wanting to go into from you, they're going to go to someone else to complain. And you're like, good for me. Like, I don't need to be the person you come to complain to anymore. And you're setting a nice, clear boundary while still being a good person and holding a high standard for yourself and the people that are around you. Yeah, and like you said, like you don't want to judge them for where they're at, but you're just seeing like the best of them. You're saying like you're saying like, this isn't really the true you. I know you can find a solution to this. I know you can see this from a higher perspective. I know you can somehow feel empowered in this situation or circumstance. And I'm really holding space for you to really come into that and realize that. But I'm not going to sit down going like, you should do this and you should do that, and you're so silly for still being in that relationship, and why are you still in that job? Like, you're just saying like, okay, so like, what could we do next? Like, what's your next step? And bring them up to that space. Okay, and it's bedtime for you, Anna, no worries. Yeah, we're pretty much wrapping up, and just basically coming into a space where you're no longer intending on fixing anyone anymore. You're knowing that it's not your job. You're just there to be a high energy frequency vibration that feels good for you. Hold a high wavelength, a high standard. Invite other people up to that, but they are responsible for coming up to it. And also, this is one of the other main things that I really want you girls to feel into and feel empowered by, is that if you feel like, say for instance, with your empathy, I need a water. Sometimes I just talk and my mouth gets like suddenly super dry. But if you've been in a situation where you feel like you've got like energy going on that's just not you, and you're in a bit of a funk and you're just not feeling good, and you know how you get into that space where you're like, this isn't me, this is someone else's energy, like you come into that observant space of like, this is not mine, this is not my energy, right? Give me a yes if you know. So you're like me for the last 21 years. Yeah, honestly, it used to be so hard. Like it's so hard taking on everyone else's energy and feeling like I was all over the place and not myself, because I was feeling this and that from all these other people. And what we've been talking about will set a really strong foundation for you to not experience that anymore, because you're setting the tone for what you're experiencing. But I'm just saying, if you ever do feel that and you feel like, okay, I feel that I'm aware of someone else's energy, I'm getting it confused with my own emotion, my own feeling, but I know it's not mine. What a lot of people, and this was me previously as well, what a lot of people go into a state of with that is like thinking like, oh, how dare you put your bad energy on me, and how like, oh, gross, that's your anger or your like resentment, I don't want to feel it, like, and going into the space of like pushing back and being really resistant about it. Just give me a yes if you know what I mean by that, and if you've felt that before, and it's, we've all done it. And just going into this like complete space of resistance and like almost like resenting the fact that you can feel someone else's energy and you're like, oh, it's gross, get it off me. Totally get it. I used to feel that way all the time. And yeah, you feel like someone else has like put their or projected their feelings onto you or their problems onto you. And I'm just saying that even though everything we've already talked about is a huge basis for not experiencing that anymore, because you're going to be in your empowerment. But if you do feel that, I'm just saying that resisting it and trying to like push it back and like resent it is only like gonna make you feel like you're in like an energetic like fight of like struggling, to feel like you're in your energy and empowered in your energy. Like pushing it back and resisting it, it's kind of like that thing of like what you resist persists, and trying to be like go away, get away from me, like that doesn't often really help. It just kind of creates more of like an inner battle, right? And this is just what I've experienced from my own practice and what my spirit guides like kind of reminded me of. They were like, hey, like stop resisting it so much, just be love. And at first I was like, what do you mean? Like, oh, it's so annoying. Like, I don't want to feel angry just because this person feels angry. It's not my problem. But once they were reminding it to me, they're like, okay, the more that you're resisting it, the more that you're trying to push it back, the more that you're just putting yourself in a squabble. Like you're not feeling very empowered when you're trying to like push back like that. But if you can observe it in a way where it's like, okay, I feel this anger, I feel this emotion, I know it's not mine. You might know who it's coming from, you might not. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to know who. But if you can come from that observant space of being like, okay, this isn't my energy. It doesn't belong to me. So therefore, I don't need to resist it, because in truth, it's just not mine and it just doesn't belong here. And that is the truth. And if I try and resist it, I'm just going to cause a battle within myself. But if I just know the truth of the fact that this is not my energy, it's someone else's, now all I need to do is consciously acknowledge, I am not going to take this on. This is not my job. I do not accept. Like, I'm not resisting, but I'm just not accepting. I'm just not taking it on. I'm just not going to go into an illusion thinking that it's mine. I'm observant enough to know that, right? And then what I like to do, and this might sound a bit fluffy, but it works for me, is I like to just kind of think, okay, whoever this is, whether I know who it is or not, I say, whoever this is, I really hope that they resolve this and feel better. I'm not going to fix it for them, but I'm going to send it back to them with love and just hope that they, on their journey, figure it out for themselves, heal for themselves. And I hope that they receive the love that I'm sending it back with. Like, I hope that helps. I'm not fixing it, but I'm sending it back with love. And I hope that that helps, because I just want other people to feel good too. But that is their energy, their journey. And all I can do is create a loving intention, because that's who I am. I like to be loving. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send it back with love and say, look, this is your piece of the puzzle, unfolding your journey. That's for you to deal with. I've had plenty of my own emotions to figure out for myself. I can't do it for you, but here's some love as I'm handing it back and some good intention. I hope you feel better. If you see what I mean by that. So in my mind, I'm like visualizing, like, okay, there's this energy here. It's not mine, it's someone else's. And I have like visualized it going into this envelope, and I'm sealing the envelope with a heart, and I'm just sending it back, like return to sender, whether I know who it is or I have no idea whose it is, doesn't matter. It's like I set the intention, I'm sending to Turner, returning to sender, and I'm sending it with love. And that way, I am free of the resistance or the inner like struggle, and I feel empowered, and I feel true to who I am in terms of being loving. And I know that I've somehow positively, in some way, like helped whoever it is that is dealing with that emotion, but not by taking it on, by actually just like sending them positive intentions and thoughts and being like, okay, I really hope that you feel better, right? So it's just a really good way of you having your boundaries and also being loving and letting go of the resistance factor of trying to fight it you know, because if you know it doesn't belong to you, you don't need to fight it and push it back. You just need to know, this is not mine. Send it back with love, without resistance. Let me know if you girls feel resonant with that. I know it can sound a little bit fluffy, but I just know that it just doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for a lot of you girls to resist it and try and fight it and it doesn't work to take it on and try and think it's your job or to put it on your shoulders. Like, none of that works. But this, a lot of the times, for a lot of people, it does work. It frees you and makes you be like, okay, now I'm just going to get back into my vibe, get really clear on my wavelength, set the standard, and know that this is my practice to keep the high wavelength for me and my energy field. Oh, awesome, Brianna. Emery, you're like, I love cute imagination things, total unicorn vibes. Yeah, anything similar to that, like something that might be even more personal to you, that just feels good in a way of like, no, it's not mine. I hope you heal. I hope you feel better. But I'm not taking it on for you. And it's just another way of you being very empathically intelligent. It's like, oh wow, I'm so freaking empathically intelligent. I know what this person's feeling over here. But I also know that it's not mine and I'm not taking it on. And I'm being a good person and hoping that they are hoping the best for them, you know. But I'm not going to let my intelligence be misunderstood as any type of responsibility for anyone else's energy or journey, you know. So yeah, girls, I'd love if you can that's everything that I had as my priority to bring through tonight. I'd love if you girls can share with me in the comments either like what's been really helpful for you, whether this is like completely shifted you from the old paradigm to the new paradigm, or perhaps it's just put some pieces of the puzzle together for you, or maybe there's something you still want to ask about. I'd love for you to share with me in the comments. Let me know if you're feeling like an empathic superwoman now, like you're going to go out into the world and feel so much more like you've got your superpower, or whether it's, just giving you a sense of strength within your gifts and your energy, or whether you felt like now you're just completely open and ready to connect with spirit at only the highest energy, frequency, and vibration, and you know that that's the only reality for you, and that you don't need any of the old stuff. Amy, you can totally watch the replay. I'll upload this tonight and get it out as soon as I can, so you can definitely watch the replay. I really recommend you watch the replay because the stuff is like, it's a huge foundation for you being able to go that next level of working with your gifts and spirit from a completely fearless, empowered space, especially if you find yourself very empathic. Okay, awesome. So you guys are saying, reaffirming, I'm embracing my Catherine, I'm embracing my empathic badassness. I love it. Reaffirming for what I already felt was true. I definitely want to try the exercise for sure. Definitely. The biggest aha was when you said to reclaim your position as CEO of your own energy field. Like, yes, amazing. And you resonate with everything. You're grateful, so thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. Amazing. Feeling honored to be with you all. Thanks for such a woman. Amazing. Not afraid of the unknown and feeling people bring you down. I'm so excited. Over paradigm versus new paradigm, and like, we are the girls who are like creating the new paradigm. So we'll have to implement it and show it for everyone else, and also for our children and our children's children. So it's really exciting to know, like, this is what we're doing for the collective. Like, this is what we're bringing in. Resonating with everything, less fear or resistance to negativity, and better tools to empower myself. Amazing. This is still something. Yeah. Okay. Amazing. Cool. Oh, I do want to, before we finish, I want to get a group photo. I'm going to have to do it in like 2 pieces though, because there's like 2 screens of people. Let me take a little photo of everyone. And smiles. And I'm going to go to the next page. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I've absolutely loved all your energies here. And thank you so much for being so involved and sharing in all the chat message and talking with each other in the chat. I'm so happy. And for those of you who are enrolled in Gifted Experts, what we're going to be doing is I'll be sending out like a guided meditation where you can go and implement this and really find your particular like wavelength that is your vibe that you're going to hold as your standard throughout all the stuff that we've talked about tonight. And then on Wednesday here in the US and UK, but it will be Thursday for those in New Zealand and Australia, I'll be doing 2 Q&A personal guidance sessions live in the Gifted Experts private group, where basically, so I'll do one kind of like early morning and then one a little like 3 hours later so that I can catch all time zones. And basically I'll be tuning in with Spirit. You guys can come on live, ask questions, and I'll help you each personally with something that you felt has come up for you in this module, something that you're wanting to really clarify or get guidance upon. So that's like how I follow up with more personal support, is like we do the modules, you do the meditation practice at home, you get really clear in it within yourself, and then you come on a Q&A with your questions or how you'd like some more personal guidance. And I just, tune in with Spirit and just bring through whatever messages they have for you more personally relative to that week's module and topics, okay? And that goes for every week within every module of both phase 1 and phase 2. So I'm looking forward to that. And if any of you have been like thinking about Gifted Experts, but you weren't sure and you wanted like a taste tester to really come and like check out the vibe and see if it kind of fits for you, if you're feeling drawn, make sure to use the code module1. So just all capital letters. I'll put in the chat just so you can see it, like module 1. To get 20% off of enrollment. We're basically closing enrollment on the 18th. So you've got like 3 or 4 days left, and then it's completely closing until the next round, which is like 6 months away. So yeah, if there's anyone here who's feeling drawn, you can either go to giftedexperts.com and use the code module1 to get 20% off. Or if you have any questions or you're just wanting to chat a bit, just reach out and personally message me, either on Facebook or Instagram or email. And if you're needing like a custom payment plan to make it happen for you, I can do that as well. But yeah, there's basically like 9 spots left, I think, for phase 1 and about 5 spaces left for like phase 1 and 2. So if you're feeling drawn, I trust that like you know intuitively whether it's right for you. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me. But yeah, thank you girls so much for being on live and vibing and being on this really cute wavelength and bringing all the positive vibes and resonating and being part of this group energy. So yeah, thank you so much. I love you girls a lot. And yeah, love this. Thank you. What a breath of fresh air. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, thank you guys so much. And I'm really looking forward to next week as well. We've got module 2, which is like your personal unique gifts, spirit guide, spirit team, and getting really clear on how you communicate with them. So yeah, I'm excited for next week as well. But yeah, anyway, love you guys. Bye.